Welcome back to another episode of Boys Love Exchange Transit Love Exchange 3.
Transit love. Did somebody break your heart?
We're halfway through. We're further than halfway through the show.
So there are 20 episodes?
There's 16.
No, there's 16.
Allegedly, per my drama list. But what do they know? The contestants were saying we're not even halfway there yet.
Oh.
Because I think they're there for, I think it's like 21 days.
Yeah.
And they are we just get texts for day 8.
Yeah. 1 week. Actually, I didn't realize that the X rooms were exactly a week after, or like in the second week, which makes sense.
Yeah.
If they're kind of splitting it in like 3 acts in this way.
Mm-hmm.
The second act is like, don't forget your ex. And then
no.
And the third act is it's the resolute. Everything's...
The third act is mess.
The third act is the 5th act of a Shakespeare play.
Yes.
It's like everything's on stage.
The giant is in our lands.
The giant is in our lands. Everyone's out of the woods. Jeju is the liminal zone.
Jeju is liminal space. Yeah. And it is an island.
Yeah.
So it's surrounded by water. But
that's true.
I think for BL specifically, it's the water.
It's the water.
The water.
But for the straits that we watch in the show, this channel.
It's land. It's island.
Island.
That was what we like to call word association. Non sequitur word association. Yeah. Okay. So here's what's going on.
What's on the docket for today? What's on the agenda?
Shockingly, not a lot of official things are on the agenda today.
No.
There are no official dates. We have 4 unofficial dates.
Yeah.
Hangouts.
What do they call them? Free dates.
Free dates. And then a lot of mess. And then we have some texting for day 8. And then we have goops and gags.
Goops and gags for the next day.
Goops and gags for the following day.
Mm-hmm. Let's start later that night where we last left off.
Okay, so we've got Seokyoung is still on her skinship
era.
Yeah.
And she's like, my heart is racing.
She's got the friendship bracelet on. She said, my favorite album is Skinship. Someone should make an album called Skinship.
A title track named Skinship.
That's right.
Only one of has not capitalized on. You know why? Because there's no O on the word.
Oh, that's true.
So they can't capitalize it.
Skin shop.
What was her point? But Joanne was not there, though. I think her point was that she was drunk.
She was like trying to be like, your artery will tell you if you're... Somehow it was like, I'm depressed. Because that was how Kwang Tae was like, yeah, you can tell I'm depressed. You can tell I'm depressed. And then
he was just like really beating himself up after being told off, and rightfully so.
By Yoo-jung. But he also was like, I think in his feelings because he didn't get any texts.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
It's his first time. And Huyen was like, yeah, you're lying. You're a liar. All the girls texted you. And then they teased a little bit because Sang-jung came in and like sat down and she like looked like perplexed.
Yes.
It's like just a reminder to us.
Right.
That they're obviously exes.
We're going to hear their ex story at some point.
We're going to hear their ex story. God, this show.
So...
she's like so wasted. She goes upstairs. She lays down in the living room upstairs where Yoo-jung and Ju-won are just chatting.
Dahae, I want to say formerly Dahae's crying corner.
Yeah.
Because it's been days.
It's been days, yeah. She has not needed
She hasn't cried in a while, actually.
She will next episode, I think.
She will next episode, I think, yeah.
And she basically, Seokyoung basically just like falls asleep.
Yeah.
She's like,
in the way that like when I was a kid, I would fall asleep in the car. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted my mom to like carry me inside.
Oh.
Did you not do that?
Yeah. No, I would actually, because I fall asleep like a baby in cars. So I actually fall asleep.
My mom figured it out. And so at some point she'd just be like, get up, you old possum.
That's what she would say.
Because they play dead. Possums play dead.
She's pretending to sleep because Yoo-jung and Ju-won go outside the terrace and they are like well, let's go out on a date tomorrow. What are you doing?
So she's
Let's go
definitely listening to them.
shooting.
And then also Chang-jin comes out on like the outside.
I think he goes out. I think he wants to vape and then hears them from upstairs and goes right back inside.
Yeah.
He's
like
like-
hides, scurries away.
And he basically says that like, I want to ignore her because seeing her with other guys actually makes me upset. And I would much rather not see her in here.
No.
He would much rather be in like a Singles Inferno. I don't think he is fit for Singles Inferno because you have to be some sort of outgoing.
The one question they never ask them, or at least we never see an answer on camera, is like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah.
Do they all think that they're so set? Like, the only person I genuinely feel like I know why he's doing the show is Juwon, because he was asked ostensibly by Seokyoung and he wanted to get back with her. That's the only one where I'm like, he has a motivation.
Yeah.
Everyone else, I feel like doesn't have a motivation. So I'm like, why are you putting yourself through this? Because you don't have to. No one's holding your head at gunpoint. And I mean, I guess there is like the thing of like, you get some fame and notoriety from it, and you could, if you use it correctly, if you're portrayed well on the show, you could spin it into like later opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? Because like,
But I think it's also One Bin last year was like, I mostly did it because I could get a check.
oh, that's true.
Because he was like, so I can finish school, basically.
Yeah, that's true. That's
so
true.
I think there are multiple factors.
Yoo Jung can't go to bed
Yoo Jung can't go to bed.
because Dahae and
Chang-jin.
Chang-jin are down in the living room having a kiki, having a ball
Till 6 in the morning.
until 6 a.m.
This is what I'm saying.
Because I couldn't do that now.
Because the next day when they were in their date, they kept talking about it. We're like, I can't believe we just talked for so long.
Yeah.
But I think Chang-jin, even though he's only been there for, this is his second night, he really didn't talk for the first nights. And I think Daye has not had an opportunity to talk at all.
He's like the first guy on the show that she can kind of start from ground zero with.
Yeah.
I shouldn't probably say the phrase ground zero, but I don't think any of the guys like Dahae anyway.
I don't think so either.
Which is weird to me.
I really thought Kwang Tae would.
I thought he would too. But it seemed like that run was just like...
But if there are more people coming in...
Oh, well, we'll get there. Would you rather be a contestant where your ex is not on the show at first and then they come in later, like Yoo Jung? Mm-hmm. Would you rather be the contestant that comes in later? Or would you rather be the regular ones who are all...
Who start from the beginning. And they have their exes
back
there.
to zero base, yeah.
I think it's the start from the beginning. You at least immediately have a bond with people that you're all going through the same thing. If it's one of the other options, whether you're Chang-jin or whether you're like Yoo Jung, it feels like you're going through it all by yourself.
Yeah.
It'll feel just naturally like everyone else is already okay with it. I mean, obviously Dongjin already felt that way from the beginning,
Yeah.
but I think that's just more personality wise.
I feel like in all the... Like this and Singles Inferno kind of do the same where they bring in people later. And it feels like every time they bring in someone later, they end up... The person who comes in later has the advantage for some reason.
Yeah.
Because they're fresher.
They're always fresh. They're new.
Yeah. They're more interesting. And I think production does a good job of like holding...
Making sure it's someone
more-
compelling.
Yes.
Not that it's... Because like in Singles Inferno, it was Dex, who was like... super.
But then he didn't win.
But then he didn't end up with anyone.
Yeah, that's true.
So, well, it's like Hyunggu, Haen's man in the last season.
Yeah.
He comes in and it's just
Yeah.
like sweep
But
someone
even
away.
Nan and Tae ended up together.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think they stay. I think that it like fizzled out pretty quickly. But and then technically Haen and Hidu also came in later on
Yeah,
the show.
Hidu is
and
later.
everyone also, both of them end up with someone.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It does feel like the people who come in at first, if you don't have someone you're immediately attracted to, there is the understanding of how the show works that then you're just like, oh, well, then I'll just wait for whoever comes in later.
Yeah.
And then you don't try to build
You
those
don't try because you feel like
and then by
there
the
might be-
time it's too late, it's definitely too late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is nice that everyone starts off on the same footing at the beginning so that you're hitting all the same benchmarks together.
I just hope that they're...
Because I think the worst would be to be in Yoo Jung's position, which is like you're trucking along,
And then-
nothing's happened. I mean, you're
and then a
basically
pit-
just on a singles dating show,
And then a pit stop where it's like, oh, all the feelings that I...
and now you've been sent back to day 1, day 2, where it's like, oh, I didn't imagine I'd be seeing my ex talking to other girls in front of me.
And it affected me this much.
Right.
She basically can't fall asleep because of it.
Ugh.
She wakes up the next morning. She has this date with Juwon. And on her way down,
They like cross paths.
Chang-jin comes out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
They accidentally cross paths. She runs back to her room and starts crying again.
Yeah.
As she fixes her hair.
sucks.
It's
It sucks because I think Yoo Jung is of all the girls
Well, she's
on the
the youngest.
show,
She's the youngest
She's
girl.
the youngest girl, but she doesn't feel young. She feels like really mature.
Steadfast.
She really like knows what she wants.
yeah, headstrong.
Yeah, but not in like an off-putting
Like a
way.
pushover
Like
way, yeah.
she's just like very like sure of herself, and it kind of hasn't really wavered the whole show.
Yeah.
Even when she's been like choosing earlier when she was like, I'm choosing between Kwang Tae and Juwon, she was like, I'm choosing between Kwang Tae. It wasn't like hem and ham,
Yes,
blah blah blah.
yeah.
Like she was like, these are my two options.
Yeah.
This is what I'm down to. So it sucks to see her like kind of like hit this roadblock like that. But I think it is also good for her to like feel the feelings.
I think so too.
Especially
And she
when
gets
we
there
learn,
at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
So in Chang-jin and Dahe's like overnight conversation, Chang-jin was basically like, it's so hard to look at my ex. Feels like I can't even whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Right, because Chang-jin did not text that. He texted Yoo Jung yesterday.
And Dahe was basically kind of like bringing this up as a joke. Jokey, kiki. But to be like,
Why didn't you text
why
me?
didn't you text me? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was when she realized, she like basically was like, it's Yoo Jung. Because Yoo Jung happened to go into the kitchen too at the same time.
Yeah, she just like put 2 and 2 together.
And she was like, oh yeah. Because all of a sudden he just like, he froze.
Yes.
When Yoo Jung had to walk by and come back up.
Yeah. Oh.
Dahe's very perceptive.
She's extremely perceptive. Extremely perceptive. And do you know why?
Why?
Because her
She's my
entire
rapper.
relationship, it had to be a secret. So she knows all the tells of like trying to keep like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how she knows. That's how her Dongjin I don't think is like as smart.
No.
But she is definitely like very intuitive about what's
Because
going on.
she's also, yes. Because those 13 years she had to always keep a bird's eye view of what's going on.
First date we see Dongjin and Hyewan go out on a little pottery date. Okay, first of all, let's talk about their little outfits. He is wearing a tan sweater, white
over a white
button up.
button up. She is wearing like black socks, like calf socks all the way up,
a black skirt,
skirt,
a little
It's
a pink like cardigan. They're so and a side like not a full side pony, not like here, but
Yeah.
like it's
Swoops
pulled to the side. Yeah. They are so
They look like
cute
a young
together.
couple.
And
she's
so
like
cute.
What was she again? 28? 27?
She's 5 years younger than him.
Yes.
And I think she's 26. Because he's 31.
Yeah, he's 31, yeah. Because Chang-jin's the oldest.
Yeah. They're so cute together. This date is so
That's what
charming.
I told Adam, they feel like they're such a comfort to one another.
I don't feel like
The sparks,
I don't feel sparks in that way.
it's not the same sparks like Dahe and Chang-jin where
I know.
or even like Juwon and Yoo Jung where it's like they're kind of shy with one another.
Mm-hmm.
They want to like make the other person be happy.
Yes. But I think Dongjin and Dong-jun says it in the episode that
I want to take care of her.
She is like a person who you just want to like take care of.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what she needs.
I think that's
at
what
this
she needs
point in her life,
because she keeps dating someone that was younger that she had to take care of.
Correct. And she feels very comforted by like an older guy who's like willing to.
I don't have to do.
Her.
Yeah.
Yeah. They go to this pottery date. They make these plates or whatever. It's very cute.
They draw. Yeah, and they like
first
draw
they like do cups, and then they like paint the done ones or whatever.
They paint the bowls.
So he colors
He puts one and then an arrow.
One and an arrow, and it's all like connected. And then she does one that looks like it's like a heart with like paint splatters or like bubbles. And so they go out to a cafe afterward, and she brings up his design.
Well, he was like, "Do you know why I did that?" And she was like, "No, let me look at the picture again." And she was like, "Is it because this is the first day
of us together?"
And the panelists were like, "Oh," and he was like, "No, no." And he felt so silly because he was like, "I think you put too much of a meaning on it. That's not what I meant at all." But then I think embarrassed because that's literally what it looks like.
Yes,
I think he realized it. It's a pun. One, and then arrow. I think next is dong.
No. Dong is east.
Dong is east.
And he pointed it to the right for east.
And he was like, it's so obvious.
He was so proud of it.
He was like, yeah, it's really obvious if you think about it. And she was like,
girl, no, it's not, girl. Shut up. You're so dumb.
So
what a simple man. And then she did bubbles on hers in reference to their like day yesterday where she kind of, I think he really helped like pull her out of that like deep funk from the Huion candy situation. Then she saw the candies before they went out and she was like yelling at the candies.
She was like, why the fuck is this still here?
Oh my God, it's so
I wanted her to hide it.
But I liked that energy toward the candies because I was like, oh, she's already moving on.
She's already moving on. Yeah, totally.
Well, I thought. We go on another date. Yoo-jung and Ju-won go shooting.
They go shooting, and they were like, whoever does well, whoever does
like
better.
In the literal gun sense of shooting.
And then Ju-won all of a sudden is like a fucking sniper.
Yeah. He said Bradley Cooper, an American Sniper, bitch. With that fake baby in the beginning. Do you remember? It is very funny. She screams every time she shoots. It's very funny. He took a video.
It's very cute. And then on their way back, they were like, this date was too short.
Yes. I mean, she is like, if the whole thing with Kwang Tae was, she was like, can we just get this over with?
She was like, can we go somewhere else? Can we do other stuff? Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, girl. Someone already reserved the crew to go somewhere else.
But I thought it was, as it was a date I would literally never go on. In like,
I would do like an axe throwing. I would do like a novelty.
Would not do an axe throwing.
You would do?
I don't even know if I would do.
I would do an archery.
I think I've
always wanted to actually try archery. Yoo-jung in the car was basically like, if you just want to do stuff, we can just do stuff. We can always just go.
She didn't mean it like that.
No, but like if you just want to hang. It's
funny because that's how I thought you meant it at first. If you just want to do stuff in the car, we can just do stuff in the car. If you just want to make out for a bit, that's fine. I will say it would be the biggest goop and gag if
someone started making out.
If people just started kissing on the show. I think this show they never would. I think Singles Inferno they would ahead of it because they are all single.
Yeah.
And there is this show is like, you're trying to, like they were saying in the last episode, you're trying to really be
mindful of your ex, who they like, and then that person's ex.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like they're
just like very comfortable. And I think that's the most compelling part is that will they just go with it and run with it, or are they still too connected to their ex? Which I do think in this episode, I see them really trying to process everything with their ex and be like, that's done so that I can go on.
That's how one feels to me, for sure. The last unofficial date we have was decided today.
Literally, Chang-jin is just in the
kitchen with Dae.
Dae comes in and he's like, "Do you want to get coffee?" And she's like, "Sure." But then she volunteers to help Seok-kyung make lunch. So then they're all making lunch, and I think Ju-won and Yoo-jung came in. So we think the crew was ready to go for their coffee.
Yeah,
and so they're like, "We gotta go," but we just made food for everyone.
Yeah,
so
and there's still the like, can they be clear that they're doing this or not? So the rules aren't clear on that.
The rules aren't clear.
Because I can't tell if they're rules or if they're like, it's like impolite.
I don't want to say anything in front of my ex. Right. Possibly. If it's a free date, yeah.
Right.
So they kind of sneak out, basically.
Yeah, but
Dae doesn't say anything, but he does. I think he's like,
Dae doesn't even sit with them to eat food.
No. She makes the food and goes sit in the living room.
Yeah.
He like has like at least 5 bites and then like goes.
And then runs out. And Yoo-jung is like, it was very clear that they were going out together.
Because they like were dressed up when we came home.
Yeah.
They go get coffee at Vanapresso.
Come on, Vanapresso.
They were a sponsor because their logo was at the end.
that.
And you know what? We'll be going too. We're going to recreate this date. She looked like she had like a full strawberry latte, but like the strawberry topping was like fully on
strawberry
top.
Is very hard for me because there's some, I don't know if I want strawberry in coffee.
I think it's like a vanilla bean frappe situation.
Oh, so just no.
So I think it's just like,
whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't think there's, yeah.
Because I was going to say originally, I don't like artificial strawberry flavoring, but that's not true because I love strawberry Nesquik.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goat of strawberry things. But I don't like bad strawberry flavor.
Is strawberry my favorite fruit?
No,
Hayoon's my favorite fruit. Ultimately, I think banana might be my favorite. Because I like banana flavored things more.
That is
You
truly.
so?
I'd rather you say apple. That is such a boring answer.
Bananas,
Miss Girl.
So they have this coffee date.
What is my favorite fruit?
It's peach.
Yes.
We just won.
Yes. We won $10,000. They are a fruit that are only available when it's ripe.
Yes.
And then they are just like gone.
And
I mean, you can get like canned peaches whenever, but fresh
There's
peaches.
nothing like a fresh
There is
peach.
like 2 months where they are in the grocery stores and then they're gone.
God, a peach cobbler.
A peach cobbler with like a vanilla bean
right cream. On top. Anyway, they go to this cafe day and they have a good time.
Peach
and
tea.
It's very sweet because Chang-jin is fully like, I feel like
this date is great. I don't think about my ex if I'm not at home or like when I'm outside. I know.
And they're kind of like, I don't want to go home. So they don't. They walk the fucking Han River on golden hour.
Well, yes. And then on the way there, they're like,
this guy's so pretty.
He says, how come it's so beautiful? And she like can't. It doesn't feel like he's like trying to.
No, he's genuinely like, wow, I'm in such.
The world is so beautiful because I'm in such a good mood because.
And I think that's what she loves about it.
I know. I really like them together. I
really like them together too.
I really like them together. Yeah. It's a great date. He's a good Instagram boyfriend. He takes a great photo of her in golden hour. It's a slay in my book.
Mm-hmm. It's a win in my book.
They come back home. The Yoo-jung and Huyan, the Mangnaes, have made dinner. Okay.
And everyone is shocked because they are self-proclaimed the worst cooks in America. And everyone is like, wow, this doenjang jjigae is fire. Dae was like, I've had 3 bowls. And Yoo-jung was fully like, Chang-jin was silent the entire time eating it. And
we didn't even look up.
We didn't get a talking head, but I wonder if he was like, wow, it tastes exactly like
how she used to make it. Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
They get to texting. Yoo-jung receives 4 texts.
The panelists were like, I did not know it went up that high.
Yeah. She gets text from Dongjin, Kwangtae, Juwon, and Huiyeon. She does not receive a text from Chang-jin.
And she realizes that she doesn't get a text from Chang-jin, is annoyed that she doesn't get a text from Chang-jin, and then is annoyed at herself for getting annoyed. That
She says in her talking head that she would rather not get a text from Chang-jin because I think it throws her off if she does, because she got one yesterday. But I still think it still sucks to get 4 and then be the like, but your ex didn't choose you.
And then the text, your ex does not choose you.
Dahye gets Chang-jin's text, which is very cute. Dongjin gets a text from Haewon, thanking him for today. Not even thanking him.
It was the the arrow, and then a bubbles.
It was cute. And I don't know why he texted. I
think it's this fucking stew. I think everyone was
gooped and gagged over the stew.
I really think she made a big deal of like, I'm not a good cook. I think her and Huiyeon really made a big deal about it.
Maybe.
And so it was more of a grateful.
Chang-jin gets a text from Dahye, and she says,
there it is, finally linked.
They're finally linked. And they talked about on their date,
when they were washing dishes, she was like,
he asked her, what are you gonna do with your sincere letter tonight?
With your sincere letter. And she was like, the fuck is that? And when he was like, I meant the text. She was like, I do what I want, but you owe me because you were supposed to text me yesterday. And it's very cute.
It's very cute. They just feel like they're like it's easy conversation for them.
It does. And I think from like last time, it's adults dating. They just feel, it's like you see that they are in their you can feel that they're mature.
Yes.
But they're able to like giggle as if it's like young love. It's so
they're
cute
like
to watch.
Sure of who they are. There's not like the added like, I'm in my 20s and I'm still like deciding kind of who I am.
Let me try to figure it out based on who I'm dating.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Which I do get that when we think about Huiyeon and Haewon as a couple.
Yeah. Kwangtae gets a text from Sang-jung and says, thanks for going to karaoke with me today. Cut to
a quick date.
Quick. They went to a coin karaoke place down the street.
Literally.
Okay.
He's singing a little like a song called Caress.
Yes.
And he's like tapping her head. And
he's very handsy.
And the panelists are all like, wow, Kwangtae just works quick. But then they show us that it says your ex did not text you.
I know. So who is her ex? Not on the show.
Not on the show.
Who is his ex?
Not on the show. There's 2 more people coming.
That's crazy. Bitch, I'm gooped.
Because I really thought from last season those other 2 were just replacements.
Bitch, you thought. And I was right.
And I literally, before we watched it, the poster on my drama list has all of them now. All 10.
All 10.
So I'm like, okay, then it's 10.
This 10.
This 10. Oh my God.
It's crazy.
So we made a joke like, okay, the Kwangtae's ex is gonna be like a glamazon. Like she's gonna be like 7 foot. Like I own a CrossFit gym.
Yes. She's gonna be very intense, I feel like. She's going to be a very different energy from all of the other girls here.
Yeah. And I can't get a gauge on who. I bet it's it's gotta be another Olympian. It's gotta be another
Olympic
Olympian.
Village, baby.
And if it's another Olympian,
you've all heard the rumors about Olympic Village.
If it's another Olympian, the girls will not be ready.
No, Kwangtae,
for that energy.
Stay depressed,
Kwangtae
bitch.
is going to be depressed.
Yeah.
And Dongjin's going to find another buddy.
Dongjin's going to make a friend. It's going to be very nice.
It's going to be really nice.
Or Sang-jung's ex is going to be like cute.
Oh, that's right, because that's her type.
Yes. dates one big one and comes back. I would die.
He was like, after the show, I dated an Olympian, and then we just broke up.
Juwon gets a text from Yoo-jung, and Huyeon gets a text from Seokyoung. Why?
As like
what's Seokyoung doing on the show?
What is Seokyoung doing? I'm so confused. I mean, I think she really is. She's not found the one person, so she is doing everything little by little. She thanks Huyeon for dinner.
Yes.
And says like, he promised that he was gonna make like cuttlefish because they had it on their date, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So she was like,
next time make
cuttlefish.
Very curious.
And Huyeon even was like, I don't actually think she likes me. I think she has
a problem with the age.
She has a problem, and I think she's trying to tread lightly to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Which is very interesting that at least Huyeon is kind of aware of that.
Yeah.
That like, I don't think that I should take this seriously.
Yeah. So then after all the texts, we get like kind of a reverse of last night. So if last night Chang-jin and Dae were talking and it kept Yoo-jung up all night, tonight Juwon and Yoo-jung were talking all night. And it keeps Chang-jin up. Because he's like, his bedroom is right outside the living room.
So he like hides in the attic room for a while. Mm-hmm. And also Juwon's his fucking roommate.
Juwon's his roommate, just like Dae was.
Just like Yoo-jung's roommate. So when they're finally done talking, he was like, "I need to go outside for fresh air." And Juwon's like, "Oh, I'll join you." So they both smoke outside, and they're basically like,
well, Juwon thinks that Chang-jin's ex is Haewon
because of how hard he's taking it. And he was like, oh, well, I just did this with Haewon literally 2 nights ago that she's having a hard time. Also, it's someone in my room.
But then in the like trajectory of the show, Haewon wants Chang-jin. The whole thing with
Huyeon happened when Chang-jin came.
So he was like, oh, it's because Chang-jin came that she became really down.
Yeah.
No, girl.
Wow, Juwon is dumb.
Yeah.
And they're like, Chang-jin is basically like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
I really didn't think he expected it to be this hard.
I think that's all. They all don't think it's going to be this hard. You paint a picture in your head. You start to materialize this the way that you are able to move on. Mm-hmm. You have to go through this whole process of being like, I'm compartmentalizing this whole thing into a box that I can like not have to grieve about every day. But then you open the box and shake it out and then just dump all the contents, and now you have to live with the person who you were trying to like move past.
Which is very interesting because when you find out the reasons why people broke up with one another, none of their stories leads me to believe that it would be easy for them.
Correct. All of them are very complicated reasons as to why they broke up. It's not a one singular thing that does it. They do the survival show edit for us.
They do the survival show edit
because so Juwon comes out, he gets a text, and it's like, you can go to the personal room and see Yoo-jung's personal items, and then they flash back to last night, and they had gotten a piece of mail that said that they the next day were going to go see personal rooms with the people who they chose. So you have to like send a text of who you want to choose. So Juwon goes over. He comes into a room, and in the room there are 2 doors and a letter. And the letter tells you to your left.
At first, I thought that her room was empty. And that it was just a letter. I did too. And I was like, did she not agree to have a room made for her?
I thought I didn't know what was happening. That was crazy.
Because you were led to believe that like he's about to walk in the personal room right away.
Yeah.
No, bitch.
So the letter says, to your left is the personal room of the person that you chose, and you can find out all the information about them. It's basically a cheat code to learn more about them so you can get to know them even better.
And then you get
faster.
to talk to them at the end of
Correct.
after.
And you get to go on like a date. Or you choose the X room to your right, and there's a key hanging from the thread. They're loving the threads. I'm loving the threads. You go to the
production team. My God, I shout out to the production team.
So good. Or you get to go in the X room and see basically the museum, the tribute to your relationship with your ex, for all the good and all the bad. It is a curated assortment of memories of the two of you,
of your relationship,
as well as you get to see the interviews that your ex filmed
talking about you.
Mm-hmm. So Juwon, who had chosen Yoojung, instead chooses to go into the X room.
You find out also that Seokyoung chooses the X room.
Also chooses the X room.
Were there any
and
big
she had chosen Dongjin.
She chose. There's no clear narrative for her.
Yeah.
Were there any surprises with their X room?
So I think the way they set it up is really interesting. It's a very hard thing to talk about in a recap scenario like we're in. Sorry to do a little meta commentary, but it's hard to talk about it because it is just them. What you just watch them remembering their memories. Mm-hmm. So I think it was really smart for them to set it up this way. Juwon is first, and he just like has reactions to everything. And so it gives you a good basis of what the rooms are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Seokyoung comes in and she discovers in his interview that he had written a song called Hate about what it feels like when your lover starts like looking at you differently.
Yeah. And uses lines that basically she has said to him.
Yes. So then she listens to the
and
song.
reads
They have
the
like a
lyrics.
headphone of it and she can listen to the song. And I thought that was really fascinating.
Yeah.
I think that was like a really cool addition to kind of, it's like now like there's so many, it's like, it's an installation.
It is. Mixed media.
Yeah.
It's not just really a time capsule of the relationship. It's also just like this, where it's like, it's stuff else. But I think this technically happened in that gap between their two times they went out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy to watch Juwon cry. I'm going to be really honest.
It's not easy. It's not easy to watch any of them cry.
Any of them cry, yeah.
It's very upsetting because
the tears are the tears are grieving. It feels like it's grief. Someone died.
It's full grief. And it is, I think that they do such a good job of, it's not this part of the room is the good part of the room. It is just, it's all mixed.
Like because
the
that quotes,
it is.
The quotes.
Some of them are like
pictures,
beautiful quotes, and some of them are like, I loved her and I'm so sad I lost her. Stuff like that. Like, it's so well done. I know. Like, genuinely, it is.
I'm more crying about how well curated it is.
I know. How evocative. It is so incredibly evocative. Even though I don't even have these memories of them. And yet I feel like I learned so much just by watching them go through it and take their time and look at everything.
Yeah.
Even when it's just we're looking at a little photo of the two of them.
Them looking at the photos and kind of seeing, I mean, the bread. My God.
The bread.
It was like what would be our bread?
It would be strawberry shortcake from our wedding.
It would be strawberry shortcake from our
wedding. The meet
wedding.
and greet.
But But the thing is, it's not like
what would be our
it's not like we
food?
have strawberry shortcake all the time.
No, it wouldn't be strawberry shortcake anyway.
No. I think it's a Red Robin.
No.
Because we're
not
trash.
Campfire sauce.
It's campfire sauce.
It's just a bowl of campfire sauce.
And we're crying like,
no, what would it be?
No.
Do we have any? It would be Jenny's.
It's Jenny's ice cream.
It's Jenny's ice cream. It's very well done. The bread was very sad. It's all very sad because there's that part where Juwon is like, it just reminded me of we had only good times. And then of course you didn't.
Of course she didn't.
Because if you did only have good times, you'd still be together.
But I think all of the pictures, all of the memories were all of good times.
Of course they are. You're not going to take a picture when you're mad. But that's why they do the quotes, too.
That's why they do the quotes, because it's like, these are things that you have said.
Or the texts. Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to the text, bitch. We see one personal room. Kwangtae goes to Yoo Jung's personal room.
Yeah. Which is...
It's a bummer because she's not interested.
Well, A, it's a bummer that. B, it's a bummer because I want to know who the fuck his ex is.
I know.
But they wouldn't have shown it this early anyway if he had. But the room is so cute. They have like a little like cherry blossom tree, and she has like this peach plushie character mascot person that she's obsessed with. She loves the color pink. I mean, like, girl after my own heart. Yes. Absolutely.
Her favorite perfume. And you really find out that this perfume gig is really important to her. That was her dream date, basically. That was her
dream date.
Which now makes me realize why she fucking hated it so much. Yeah. Because she wanted it.
So mad. Because she wanted to be with Ju-won. You know what wasn't her dream date? Going shooting. She had a good time. Whatever. Yeah. It's fine. I'm curious if I was in their position. I think I would also probably choose the X room.
But here's the thing. I do think that Ju-won picked the X room as a way to get closure. That's how I felt.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree.
About this couple or just Ju-won? I can't get a gauge on Seokyoung. Truly. I think the other couple that goes.
No, I guess I agree with you on that one. I don't know. There's only one person who says
I went in there to be done.
And she says when she was left, she was done. Mm-hmm. That was Yoo Jung.
It's okay.
Should we get to it?
Miss Yoo Jung.
Yoo Jung, who had chosen Ju-won for her personal room, ends up going to the X room. And so does Chang-jin. They both do.
And they show it. They show kind of like both of them in there at the same time.
It's a very good shot. She like leaves and then he comes in immediately. It's a very good shot.
So we're kind of seeing them both experience it at the same time. It keeps weaving in and out.
Yes.
Adam. We find out
why they broke
up.
Oh my God. These two.
So he is.
Can I tell you the thing in this room that wrecked me though?
Yeah.
Not the text. It was the picture from the walk. They would stop. He would walk her home, and they would stop in front of this mirror on the same. Every time he walked her home, they would stop in front of this mirror to take a photo, and so it just had all the photos. They did like a timeline,
and he was like, I didn't realize how much time. Like it made him realize how much they did together.
Yep.
They both stop at this one text screen cap that is framed. And it is like, I ain't reading all that length. Like it is long.
Sorry that happened. Yeah.
But they stop at it. And you realize it is the text that Yoo Jung sent saying that we should break up. Because...
And why should they break up, RJ?
So they were leading up to that moment. Chang-jin had been interviewing, I think, for the startup that he has right now. Or at least like other companies.
Mm-hmm. I think he was in a job that he did not enjoy. Was how it felt.
Yes. So he was trying to pursue something that he was
more passionate
about. Mm-hmm. And so they show these montage of him like doing little interviews that they would do together. And he was basically saying like, she really helped me kind of get out of my shell and practice these interviews with her. But then it got to a point where they didn't want to kind of be a burden for the other person. So she was saying that like, I never expressed things how I felt because I didn't want to like burden him or like make him feel uncomfortable. So we always just kind of like assume the other person's feelings.
So he in this career switch process was feeling a lot of anxiety about it. And he began to like withdraw. And he was doing it in order, what he says is he was doing it in order to protect her. He didn't want to make her feel like she was a problem. However, she interpreted it as she was the problem, and that's why he was withdrawing. And
that like she's not helping, or that she's just adding more stress to something that he's already stressed out about.
Correct. And so they'd had a conversation in which she was like, so what's your conclusion? What's your conclusion? And she felt like he was backing her into a corner in which she was being forced to break up with him. So she sent this big long text. Not great. That was basically like, I think this is just better for us.
Yeah.
And then
I don't want to be uneasy with the person that I'm with.
Correct. I don't want to walk on eggshells around the person I love.
Yeah.
And he did not respond to the text for 3 weeks. And he said,
Thank you for helping me with the interviews. You can't write this.
And I was like, oh
my God.
And I think it tells a lot about Chang-jin. I think he's a person who doesn't like confrontation. And I think it's so sad in cases like these that you can see where it went wrong, but you see why you admit, like you're Chang-jin, you would see why you would make a decision to be like, well, I don't want to put all this on her. I don't want to stress her out with my anxiety about my job situation. So I'm just not going to talk to her. I mean, it's not the right decision.
Yes.
But I understand the thought process is like, I'm trying to help her.
I'm trying to help her because I don't think she should like waste time and energy on this version of myself right now.
I know.
I want her to enjoy the version where I am doing what I love, making what I want to be making, like a happy version of myself, which is not unlike what Huiyan felt. But I don't think Huiyan felt like more desperate circumstances because he was like, I was working so many part-time jobs because I had so much responsibility.
Right.
Here, it's like a crisis of conscience, basically, for Chang-jin of like,
I'm
changing into a different person almost. Like,
I think for what it felt like to me was that he didn't have the capacity to like just talk to her about stuff. And I do think it doesn't feel the same as Huiyan, where Huiyan, it does feel like there's like a bit of the like
pride,
masculine, like I have to be the breadwinner or whatever thing. It doesn't feel like the same. It feels more like that like late 20s, early 30s thing where you're like, what am I doing?
Adam, what are we doing? I ask you all the time and you don't give me an answer.
No, and it's very annoying.
And I'm trying to do, I don't want to be like Chang-jin. I don't want to withdraw.
Sure.
So I'm actually
feel free to withdraw.
So I'm actually forcing you to just tell me what I'm doing.
Few bad moves. Don't text. Don't text.
Break up over text. Do not, please, berets. Please.
And then he says like, I wanted to talk to her in person, but I wanted to do it once I had achieved something. But then you're really just setting yourself up to. But the other thing too, I want to say, I think people do this a lot. I think a lot of people do this around like financial stuff.
Totally. Finance or career for sure.
Is that you don't feel comfortable with the situation you find yourself in. So you don't talk about it as a way to, if you don't talk about it, then it doesn't exist. So if he doesn't talk about his problems with finding this new career, then he doesn't have any problems finding a new career. And like when you give it feels like
you're giving it a power.
You give it power when you like start to like reference it. And the only way to give it power is to bring it out into the light so that you can actually deal with it instead of letting it like fester and become worse. But the scary part is the like bringing it out and making it known. I think that's true for a lot of things. If you were like, I've been really sick lately, but I don't want to like go to the doctor over it because blah blah blah, or just you have all these excuses.
You don't want to admit that it's actually happening. Yeah.
Because once you get the confirmation that it is happening, that's the confirmation. Then you're officially there.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's not fun.
It's not fun
good.
because it's already hard to deal with that by yourself or for yourself.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing is like he doesn't see one of the benefits of having a partner
relationship is so
and whatever monogamy blah. One of the benefits is like you don't have to deal with it by yourself.
Yeah.
You get someone who is willing to be like, no, I will also help walk you through this. I will be there for you as you like struggle through this moment. That's like the beauty of partnership. I'm not looking at RJ right now.
No, keep talking about this. The beauty of partnership and helping. Yeah, I am really interested.
This is the first time hearing about it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
Was it?
Can you elaborate? Support? Oh, interesting.
I get vibes of like, it sucks that this happened. It sucks that she texted to break up. It way sucks that he waited 3 fucking weeks to text back, and then that's all he texted.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they were right. The panel was right. I'm sure what she wanted was the like, please don't do this. Like, I'm willing to fight for this.
Yes, which is what
blah,
he
blah,
was
blah,
saying,
blah, blah.
which was thinking. He was like, I wanted to say, like, please just give me more time. Like, I don't want this to end, but I just have to get through the things that I'm working through right now. Because at least if he admits that, then she can be like, well, good. I want to, I don't want you to think that
You don't have to do this alone.
You don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
But they don't.
So, and they broke up.
So they broke up, and
and now they're here. 4 months later, now they're here, and they both cry in the sex room, and it's very, very sad.
She is crying like it's grief, like more than anyone.
She cries like as soon as she walks in.
Yeah,
practically.
I am so sorry that these people have to go through this, but the X Room is so fucking good.
It's so.
Oh my god! You know what it is? It's what I love about like museums. It's what I like about theater. It's that feeling of like there's no escape when you're sitting in a theater and you're watching like a play that is expressing or talking about themes that like don't get normally brought up in life or whatever, and it's being explored. You just have to sit there and watch it and like have it let it wash over you. There's that same feeling of like cathartic, like.
I mean that's what it is. It's catharsis. Like your body has to get
your body
these
has
emotions
to get
out.
Your body is tied to your
them.
Yes, your body is tied to your emotions. Your physical being is tied. That's what makes us human. Speak on it, King. So it just has. You just have to let it wash. King. It just has to let it wash over you.
Yeah. And I do think Yu Jung, of everyone who goes into this X room.
Yeah.
Of the 4 people that we see in this episode, at least, she is the one who comes out and is like, I feel very secure that like that's the past. Done. It's over.
Yes. I'm not entirely sure about Chang-jin.
I'm not entirely sure about Chang-jin either.
But I'm hoping.
I think he feels a lot of guilt about it.
I think so too.
I think that's why he said when they went on that cafe date in last episode, they showed it. He said, I think I need to like apologize. And I think it's because I can't tell if he thinks he needs to apologize
because of that 3 weeks.
The 3 weeks. I mean, that's probably what he is referring to specifically, but like,
I think it speaks to more of like basically like quiet quitting the relationship.
Yeah.
But like you said, with the intention of like, I just need to focus on myself.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the relationship is bad, but that's not how it works. There's another person seeing what you're giving them.
At some point during the night, they had gotten a text that they were all...
A letter. It was another letter.
Another letter, sorry. That they were all going... The ribbon cutting room was open again. So if they wanted to change their mind, they could go and change their mind. Well, I think they all had to go.
Yeah.
But then, like, whatever. Point is that there was only 2 people that changed their mind. So they didn't show everybody else because they're just going to show the same thing. So Hyewon
and Huihyun
ties the ribbon that she had cut back together.
And Huihyun cuts the ribbon. I'm tired of this grandpa.
I'm tired of this grandpa. That's too dang bad.
So on the preview, it looks like they're back on their bullshit. It looks like he finally apologizes to her.
It looks like they're back on their bullshit. It looks like Dongjin and Dake are on some bullshit. It looks like Yoojung and Chang-jin are on some bullshit.
Get in a fight, I think in front of someone else.
It looks like they're not alone in that room.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Jeju in like 3 weeks.
At some point.
Girl, she already had hers.
So shout out to the production room. The X rooms are a fucking slay.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's just,
I think I like this more than last season's, where it was like then they leave and then they go to watch the video. I like that it's all.
I think it's very impactful that you're watching them in the room that has all your members
totally
in it while they talk about the. Yeah, I think they did it this way this year for spatial reasons, because I don't think they had another room to like go into.
Yeah.
But I do think it's like smarter this way. Yeah.
And I like that there's no X date afterwards.
I think that what sucked was like when Seokyoung was like, I didn't even realize he still had all these. He'd kept everything. Yeah. Or like there was that. So there was like a screen cap of like he had tried to text her and his messages were blocked. The user didn't exist anymore. It's so.
That's what I love about it.
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
How much you can like mean to another person and then you just stop meaning anything to them. Or you try to make them stop meaning anything.
But you can't because that's...
Because you're too connected.
Yeah.
The string.
Okay. Well, see you next time.